News Talk 94.5 WPTI, 96.7 FM WTOB. You're listening to the Wealth Guardian Show with Doug Ray, helping you retire the job and keep the paycheck. In the studio this morning, you have Brice, Payne, and Garrett Ray. And this morning, we are talking about 10 easy actionables to better secure your retirement finances. Good morning, Brice. How you doing?
Good morning, Garrett. I'm doing well. It was very nice to have a few warm days here this week. So hopefully that is the trend moving forward.
Yeah, I found myself in Indiana over the weekend, and it was not warm up there.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah. So I missed that.
Not until June, maybe.
Yeah.
All right, very good. Well, yeah, I'm excited for this episode here, Garrett. 10 easy actionables to better secure your retirement finances. Sometimes there's some big things that you can do to better prepare for your retirement, and sometimes there's some little things that you can do that are just, when they all add up to being significant as well.
Yeah, and I think that's good that we kind of do a topic like this, Brice, where it's just some quick hitters that we can get through that folks, if they're kind of listening in the car or at home, oh yeah, maybe I should think about that. That's a good point there, Brice. So yeah, this will be a good list coming up.
All right, very good. Well, let's go ahead and do our Wealth Guardian Service Salute, and then we will do our question, better get to know your Wealth Guardian financial planner. So the Wealth Guardian Service Salute, this is just take a moment where we acknowledge and pay our respects to everybody out there who puts on the uniform or who has put on the uniform and served, first responders as well, and then most importantly, or just as importantly, the families behind all of that too, because anybody who puts on the uniform, they have to have a strong support team back at the household, and you guys are just as much a part of that contribution as the person who wears the uniform itself. So we just take a moment here. We know sometimes it's a thankless job, and we want you to know that we recognize you here at the Wealth Guardian. So thank you for that. And let's go ahead and do this. Better get to know your Wealth Guardians advisor. We do this every week just so you can have an opportunity to realize that Doug, Garrett, and myself are just regular people out there on the streets in the grocery store every day of the week, just like you. And there's nothing that sets us apart in that. And so here you are, opportunity to get to know us a little bit better. And the question we're going to ask ourselves this week is, what is your useless superpower? Yeah. So many of us out here have some type of thing that we're really good at that amounts to absolutely nothing and will get you nowhere in life, but you're good at it. So, Garrett, what is your useless superpower? Yeah,
so for the listeners out there, one of my hobbies is surfing, and that has been since I was a young kid. And one of my useless superpowers is, if you show me a wave from any one of the famous surf spots around the world, I probably know what that surf spot is.
Nice.
Yeah, whether it's like Trestles outside of like San Diego, California, if it's gas chambers down in Puerto Rico, if it's Hossegor down in France.
The name dropping here. Wow.
Yeah. So it's
Pipeline.
Yeah, Pipeline, sure. Yep. And with the Oahu's.
Waimea Bay is probably one of the easiest to tell.
Yeah. Eddie will go. So yeah, there's it's just something that I've always liked. I'm not a particularly good surfer. I just enjoy getting out there and trying to catch some waves, but I definitely follow the surf spots and the surfing.
Oh, interesting. All right, very good. All right. Well, my useless superpower is that any famous person that is speaking, and I can't see who they are, like they're narrating a National Geographic special or something, I can tell you within a few seconds who that famous person is. I have an ability to recognize voices. I could look at their face and not be able to tell you their name, probably, but if I hear their voice and say, oh, that's the person that was in that show with that other guy where they had the house, that show. Yeah. But I that's my superpower. Get me absolutely nowhere in life, but that's what I can do well. All right, well, let's go ahead and see if we can help you get somewhere in life, in retirement. The 10 easy actionables to better secure your retirement finances. The first one we want to talk about is, for Pete's sake, max out your retirement contributions if you can.
Yeah, absolutely. If we're in a financial situation where we do have the ability to max out, our retirement accounts, let's please do so. For most people, their easiest and kind of most automated option is going to be increasing that contribution in your 401k, your 403b, your employer plan. And so what are those limits really quickly? For those of us who are less than age 50 or younger than age 50, that's $23,500 per year that you can elect to go into your 401k. Now, you get a catch up if you're older than 50. You get an additional $7,500, bringing your total up to $31,000 per year. And then there's an additional catch up actually for those who are age 60 to 63, getting even closer to those like traditional retirement years. You get an additional $11,250 on top of that 23,500, bringing your total to $34,750. So that is one of the, and that's elective, right? So you can elect to contribute that much toward your 401k, your 403b. The other ones, of course, are traditional IRAs and our Roths. Again, if we're younger than age 50, your limit is $7,000 per year into that. You do get an additional catch-up if you're age 50 or older, an additional $1,000 per year, bringing your total contribution up to $8,000, whether that's a traditional IRA or a Roth.
Very good. All right. So that's number one. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to the Wealth Guardians radio show with Doug Ray. In the studio this morning is Garrett Ray and myself, Brice Payne. And we're talking about 10 easy actionables to better secure your retirement finances. Some big things you can do out there, but there's also a lot of little things you can do that help along the way too. So number one was maxing out your retirement contributions. By all means, do that if you can. The next one is diversify your investments. And Garrett, this helps us. There's a lot of different types of risk that are defined out there when it comes to investing.
Sure.
There's market risk. We all understand that when you're invested in the market and the market could go down, there's market risk. Another one, let's say you're not invested in the market as a whole, but you're just invested in, say, Tesla.
Yep.
You're now not taking market risk because you're not really in the market. You're just in one company stock.
Yep.
So the market could go down, but if Tesla's stock is strong,
Sure.
you avoided that, but you are putting all of your eggs in one basket. So by not diversifying, or let me put it this way, by diversifying, you are helping alleviate stock risk by being too overweighted in one particular company or one particular sector.
Absolutely. Single stock risk does come for us all if that's something that you're in. And where we see this the most often, Brice, is it's very common for some of these larger companies like a Tesla, like, say, Caterpillar. NVIDIA is another famous one that's kind of taken off here lately. Employees of those companies, as a bonus or as kind of a performance reward at those companies, are rewarded RSUs, reserve stock units. And it's all in that one company stock.
Right.
So it's very much kind of an all-in strategy, and it works out very nicely for the employee. They get a little bit of equity in the company that they work for. And if the company does well, it's kind of to incentivize company performance. Then, the company does better, you're going to do better. If you carry that out over a 5, 10, 15-year career, you could have a whole lot of your net worth tied to one company's stock.
Plus your job, your paycheck is tied to that one company as well.
Yep. So that's where we see it the most commonly for folks that we talk to is that, hey, I'm an employee of XYZ Corporation and I've got a whole ton of stock. I'm thinking about retirement. What do I do about it?
Yeah, but let's diversify if we can. All right. Speaking of everything that you can do for planning for retirement, Garrett, we have our now seminar coming up on March 20th, and we do this seminar a couple times a year. This is Tax Strategies in Retirement. The best thing is that there is no cost or obligation to attend our seminar, but you do have to give us a call to register for it. So it's Thursday, March 20th and Tuesday, March 21st. Tax Strategies in Retirement. I'm going to ask you one question out there to see if you might need to go to this. Do you know what provisional income is? Okay, so if you're getting ready to retire or you're already retired and nobody has ever talked to you about what provisional income is, you might know what adjusted gross income or modified adjusted gross income is, but if you don't know what provisional income is, you need to, because that is what's going to determine your provisional income in any given year. Once you file for Social Security, is what's going to determine whether 0% of your Social Security is taxed, 50% of it is taxed, or 85% of it is taxed. Yep. Obviously, we'd all love to be in the spot where 0% of it is taxed, right? But that's pretty hard.
Pretty hard to do these days.
But it is doable to keep yourself from being in that 85% tax tier. So if I'm just saying something right now that you've never heard of before, then you probably need to sit down and understand taxes and retirement if you're getting ready to retire. So here's how you register. Go to our website, thewealthguardians.com, and click on the events tab. Or you can also give us a call, 336-391-3409. Lynn's going to pick up the phone and she'll get you registered. Again, no cost or no obligation. Thursday, March 20th, Tuesday, March 25th at 6:30 p.m. at our offices in Clemens.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, let's go ahead and do one more here before we got to go to the break. And this is evaluate long-term care insurance. Something else that we need to do to better prepare for retirement.
Yeah. So, we all, long-term care is a type of insurance that, it's basically paying for a type of insurance that we never hope to use. basically having to go into a facility or a home or have skilled nursing come into our own home to take care of us. The way that we think about it is that it's essentially, if there is no plan for that possibility later in life, then your assets and your savings become the plan. Because if you get sick or if you need that type of care, obviously yourself, your wife, your spouse, your children are going to want to see you taken care of. So then you have to start liquidating assets to pay for that type of care. And what it becomes is that very, very quickly, if you've got a nice nest egg built up for retirement, you're starting to deplete that very, very quickly, much earlier than you had planned. And so that if there's anything that can throw a monkey wrench into a retirement plan, it is not anticipating increased healthcare expenses later in life.
Yeah, that's a big one. And we have those conversations with clients in and out. And a lot of the time, the feedback we get is, oh, I really want to talk about this subject because my parents, didn't plan for this well, and it took a toll on my sister and myself. So yeah, if you do want to at least look at that and understand what your options are when it comes to long-term care insurance. All right, well, we've got to get to a break. And of course, what do we do every day before the break is we ask one of us a trivia question. And once again, I'm asking Garrett one. And so Garrett, here we go. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. We celebrate a birthday on February 27th, 1902. American author and Nobel Prize winner John Steinbeck is born. So happy birthday, John Steinbeck, this week. Here's my question, Garrett. Which of these novels was not written by John Steinbeck? And for extra credit, who did write it? Here we go. Of Mice and Men, For Whom the Bell Tolls, Grapes of Wrath, and East of Eden. 4 books there. 3 of them are by John Steinbeck. 1 is by somebody else. Which of those books was by somebody else, and who was that? All right, well, stick around for the answer to that trivia question on the other side of this break. This is Brice Payne. With me is Garrett Ray. The show's The Wealth Guardians, helping you retire the job and keep the paycheck. And this is News Talk 94.5, WPTI. And this is 96.7 FM, WTOB. News Talk 94.5, WPTI. 96.7 FM, WTOB. Welcome back to the Wealth Guardians Show, where we help you retire the job and keep the paycheck. I'm Brice Payne in the Wealth Guardian studio this morning, along with Garrett Ray. And in this segment, we're going to continue our discussion on 10 easy actionables to better secure your retirement finances. Now, before we answer the trivia question we left you hanging in it and we left Garrett hanging with, I'm going to ask you this question. Are you planning to retire? All right. Have you met with a retirement income certified professional who is also a fiduciary to help you plan for that retirement? If you have not, I'm going to invite you right here and now to take us up on a complimentary review of your current situation. So as certified retirement planning specialists, we're going to put together a customized written plan with strategies for portfolio allocation, income distribution, Social Security filing, and tax efficiency, with the additional benefit of often reducing both the risk and the fees of your current plan. So if you've put aside at least $400,000 and you want to take us up on this no-cost, no-obligation call, give us a call at 336-391-3409 or go to thewealthguardians.com. That's thewealthguardians.com to learn more. Let us show you in black and white how to retire the job and keep the paycheck. All right, let's go ahead and get to this trivia question now before we dip back into our main segment. And Garrett, here we go. On February 27th, 1902, American author and Nobel Prize winner John Steinbeck is born. Which of these novels was not written by John Steinbeck? And for extra credit, who did write that one book? So here are the books: Of Mice and Men, For Whom the Bell Tolls, Grapes of Wrath, and East of Eden. Garrett, what say you? Which of those was not a John Steinbeck novel?
Well, Brice, you finally landed on a subject I am terrible in. As the engineer by degree, literary studies not my thing.
Yeah, exactly.
A pure guess here: Grapes of Wrath.
Oh, wait, that's. There we go. That's got the wrong buzzer there. Grapes of Wrath actually is by Steinbeck.
Okay.
For Whom the Bell Tolls.
Okay.
Who did that?
I should know this.
A contemporary of Steinbeck.
I should know this. I have no clue.
Hemingway.
Okay.
Hemingway. So John Steinbeck did Of Mice and Men, Grapes of Wrath, and East of Eden. The Pearl, one of the first books I ever read. But there you go, For Whom the Bell Tolls. All right, let's go ahead and continue here. 10 easy actionables to better secure your retirement finances. Garrett, let's talk about this one. Reviewing your Social Security strategy. There is a lot of people think, oh, there's only one way for me to file for Social Security. When I retire and my paycheck starts coming in, I file for Social Security.
Yeah, which is logical,
And that's the way a lot of people do it.
Yep.
But maybe it's because they need to do it that way. Social Security is truly replacing their income, and they might not have a lot of savings to live off of if they want to delay it. But keep in mind, Social Security, every year that you don't file for it, and you can file for it as early as 62 years old, every year they don't file for it, it's essentially growing around 8% a year. That's a guaranteed growth on that investment as long as you don't take from it. So if you don't need the assets, in a lot of cases, in most cases, but not all, it makes sense for us to delay filing all the way up until age 70, or as long as we can up until age 70. So a lot of people say, well, you know what, my neighbor retired at 65. I plan on retiring at 65. He filed for Social Security as soon as he retired, so I'm going to do the same thing. He's a pretty neat guy, pretty nice guy, pretty smart guy. That's like saying, well, I know my neighbor is on this statin for cholesterol, so I'm going to go ahead and go on that statin too, because he's a pretty smart guy.
Yeah.
That what's right for one person is very different for another, and there's a lot of things to consider in there. So talk with a Social Security analyzer specialist, as we are here. We are certified with the National Social Security Association, and we help people figure out what is the best way for them as individuals to file for Social Security. Garrett, what do you have to add to that one?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head. Other than just don't have your Social Security filing strategy be what your father did, what your uncle did, what your friend's doing. Make sure that you get it analyzed. And yes, Social Security is a major source of income in retirement. For a lot of folks out there, it's not the only one. So understanding your different income streams in retirement could lead to a more optimized filing strategy for you. It may not necessarily be the month after you physically retire.
No, a lot of cases it's not. Absolutely. All right. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to the Wealth Guardian Show with Doug Ray. In the studio this morning is Garrett Ray and myself, Brice Payne. And we're talking to you about 10 easy actionables to better secure your retirement finances. So let's move on to the next one, Garrett. Here, what's the next one we've got?
Optimizing tax efficiency in retirement. So let's just do like kind of a quick checklist of taxable events that can happen in retirement. Well, of course, we're getting our Social Security check, or more than likely we are. That's taxable at different degrees, depending on your provisional income, which Brice, we talked about earlier. Most people have a 401k or a 403b. You may have a traditional IRA or a Roth out there. Do you know how your 401k, if you take a distribution from it, is taxed? Do you know how your IRA, if you take a distribution from it, is taxed? What about tax implications on a Roth? There isn't any, so long as it's been in existence for 5 years.
And you're over 59 and a half.
You're over 59 and a half. Good point, Brice. And what about those who have just general investing or brokerage accounts? Do you know how
they were taxed?
How are they taxed?
Differently than the IRA and the Roth.
And the 401k and the 401k.
Yeah, that's right.
So understanding how I'm going to be taxed when I'm taking my different streams of income, let's call it, Social Security, 401k, 403b, traditional IRA, Roth, and traditional just brokerage account or investing account. All of them are taxed differently. So understanding that and which account do I take from first, second, third? Does it have an impact on how I'm taxed in retirement? Yes, it does. And so having a financial planner on your side to help you understand that and take a second look at potential income streams under the lens of tax efficiency is exactly what we want to be thinking. So just think about the different accounts and potential sources of income you have out there. And think in your mind, how is this going to true up with Uncle Sam every April? And have a financial planner take a look.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. You know what better time for us to have our tax strategies and retirement seminar? We do that right around tax filing season, and we'll do it at the end of the year as well. But Garrett, we've got that coming up now. We're just announcing the dates here today, Thursday, March 20th and Tuesday, March 25th at our offices in Clemens at 6:30 p.m. There's no cost or obligation to attend this, but you do have to register because seats are limited. So give us a call at 336-391-3409. You can also reach out to us at our website, thewealthguardians.com, and click on the events tab. You'll see that one along with any other events that we're doing throughout the year there, and you can register for any of them. Garrett, taxes and retirement, I said this in the first segment. You might say, well, you know, I've been paying taxes most of my life. I'm getting ready to retire. What do I need to know? I know I do my taxes. All right, let me ask you this. Do you know what provisional income is? If you just kind of stop there and said, well, no, I know what my adjusted gross income is. What is provisional income? If you didn't know the answer to that, then you want to go to our taxes and retirement tax strategies and retirement workshop Thursday, March 20th and Tuesday, March 25th, because that is something you really do need to know when you are approaching Social Security age. That's going to determine how much of your Social Security is taxed. Is 0% of it taxed, 50% of it, or 85% of it taxed? And that is different than your adjusted gross income. So do not think that they are the same thing. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next one, Garrett. Something that people don't often do, but they really should, is plan for inflation.
Yeah, occasionally we'll run into an individual or family who they've got it all figured out, right? They've got, on paper, they've got all of their expenses listed out. They know what their sources of income are. And Brice, we love seeing folks like that. They come exceptionally prepared when they talk.
Yes.
But one thing they may not be considering is, let's say, and I'll just throw out a round number here, they know for a fact they're spending $4,000 per month. That's their living expenses. They got everything calculated. And they say, I think I need X amount saved up for retirement, and it's going to last me 20 years through retirement. But they haven't inflated their expenses.
Or if they did, they underinflated them.
Or they underinflated.
But most often they don't even calculate it at all.
Most of the time they just say, yep, I'm going to straight line $4,000 per month for a 20-year retirement. No, we need to understand that inflation is a reality. Yes, there's going to be some years where inflation is less. There's going to be some years where inflation is uncomfortably high. But where does it all settle out, and what are we planning on? Because if you look at it, over 10, 15 years, we all know in the back of our head that, that gallon of milk doesn't cost what it did back in 2005. Mm-hmm. Same thing with that gallon of gas. This is going to be true of your retirement. When you're 65 and you retire, what happens when you're 75 for that same lifestyle that you want to live? Probably going to be more real dollars going out your pocket thanks to inflation. So understanding how inflation works, just accepting that it is a reality and planning for it is the way to go when we understand our expenses. So kudos on doing the hard work and getting the budget done. Now we just need to tweak it slightly to understand how it's going to impact your nest egg 10, 15, 20 years down the road.
Okay. And I'll just ask you, do you know what the 100-year average of inflation is out there? If you don't, then you probably want to attend our taxes and workshops so you can understand that. Right. Again, March 20th and Tuesday, March 25th. It's Thursday and Tuesday at our offices in Clemens. 336-391-3409 is the way that you can register for that. No cost or obligation. Let's try to do one more here, Garrett. Schedule an annual financial checkup. Annual is the key word there. Why is this an important actionable?
Well, why the heck not? So if your doctor expects you to come up at least once per year for an annual physical, why wouldn't you want to have the same peace of mind that you take for your own body and your own medical, right. situation?
Good point.
For your financial situation? If I kind of think about important things in life, how's my body holding up and how's my financial situation?
That's right.
Two important things. So it's very regular for us to kind of fall into a pattern of an annual physical with our doctor.
Dentist?
Dentist as well. Yep. Clean teeth, always good. But why don't we have that same type of relationship with our financial planner? I'll never know.
You get your car inspected once a year just to make sure. You got to, but it's still the same thing, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, very good. Well, unfortunately, folks, that is going to wrap it up for everything that we've got to do this week. We do thank you for joining us in the Wealth Guardian studio this weekend and all the weekends that you join us. We hope the rest of your weekend is everything you want it to be. This is Brice Payne along with Garrett Ray. The show's the Wealth Guardians, helping you retire the job and keep the paycheck. And again, one more time, give us a call, 336-391-3409 if you'd like to sit down with financial professionals who operate on the fiduciary standard. As Garrett said, why the heck not? All right. And this is News Talk 94.5 WPTI.